Seth Rollins taps out against Sting. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the General Jerry channel. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for your support. We had nearly 100 subscribers yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your support, because at the end of the day, it is so good to be on top. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say this. I have a very special guest on my podcast next week. And also, ladies and gentlemen, the General, he's going to take out the ace in the sleeve. What could it be? Ladies and gentlemen, General always has a plan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. So, the Authority seem to think that they're fucking dancers, and the Authority dances with the New Day. These are heels, okay? Now, first of all, I did enjoy Raw. Before anyone says, oh, here we go, it's a general bashing session. I did enjoy Raw, but the Authority dancing with the New Day? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But ladies and gentlemen, you know me, I go through every single segment, every single match, because the General is very informative. You know, there are people out there that aren't informative, and, you know, they only look for that money. But the General only cares about the fans. So ladies and gentlemen, if you don't want no bullshit, if you want uncensored, uncut, full analysis of WWE, all you gotta do is take that time to subscribe. So let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon kicked off this week's episode of Raw by welcoming the WWE Universe to the night show. They ran down the night's festivities, including an announcement that Sting, for the very first time, will compete on Raw against, well, it's the Big Show. The Authority also said that Seth Rollins will lead the next class of WWE superstars into the future before announcing tonight's opening contest. It is a WWE Tag Team Championship match, pitting the New Day against the Primetime Players. Obviously, this is the season premiere, so that's what I think, you know. The content of opening the show could have been better, to be honest with you. Like I said, the whole Seth Rollins cutting a promo or the Authority coming out, it's getting a bit boring now. What's really funny is actually the middle of Raw, and this was actually quite good. But I'll be getting into that right now. So let us continue. And this is the Primetime Players versus the New Day. Personally, very good match. It did serve its purpose. It is obviously going to the main match, which is the Dudley Boys as well, which is at Night of Champions. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, the New Day defeated the Primetime Players. Wood's well-timed distraction provided Big E and Kingston with the opening they needed and finished the Primetime Players off. After the match, the Dudley Boys appeared and taunted the champions, whom will challenge in 6 nights. Very, very good match, very strong match, and absolutely promising things happening in the tag team division. Paige versus Sasha Banks. The next chapter of the Paige versus Sasha Banks was written Monday Night Raw, and they squared off in singles competition. Paige crashed hard on the mat, making her promo to the Banks statement from the former NXT Women's Champion, who scored a submission victory. It was fine. It was average, but I would have liked it to go on a little bit longer. Also, like I've said previously, they are trying to get to the build-up of Charlotte and Nikki Bella. But if they are going to do Paige versus Sasha Banks, it needs to be a feud between the two women not involved in these groups. That's just my personal opinion. But the match was average. It's nothing very memorable about it. The Wyatt Family appear on Miz TV. Yeah, they didn't reveal who it was. Roman Reigns said they have a partner. It will obviously be shown at Night of Champions. Roman Reigns cut a promo. A lot of people saying, oh, he did shit. I thought he did decent enough. Although I wasn't happy that it was on Miz TV, because y'all know I hate the fucking Miz. The money maker. But, yes, the Wyatt warned Miz about putting himself in harm's way by trying to get this big scoop about Strowman. Like Jimmy Uso and Randy Orton before them. He wants the Miz, Reigns, and Ambrose to suffer. This brought out Reigns and Ambrose, who arrived through the crowd. They were quick to dispatch the Miz before the former promised retribution for the Wyatt family's attack on his family member Uso on SmackDown. There is a third man who will join him, and Ambrose, he vowed, and promised to whoop up on his rivals on Sunday night. The effect of it being on Miz TV lowered a little bit. I personally thought that Miz TV could have stayed out of it. I don't know why they're forcing this Miz TV thing like it's going to be a big thing. It's not. Nobody gives a shit. I will say this, though. I have said on multiple occasions, which we have seen on Raw, hey, maybe WWE's actually watching my videos and actually looking at my feedback, because let's face the facts. I am the general. But, basically, you know, what I said previously is that we should have interactions in the ring. WWE did this, on tonight's show, and as much as the segment fell flat, I am encouraged by what I see by having the wrestlers interact in the ring. Yeah, it's scripted, but it is a step in the right direction where these guys can interact with each other and not just fucking Bray Wyatt on a TV going bang 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 bang. You know, I kind of like, you know, like you're fucking twitching or some shit. But anyway, let us continue. Obviously the announcement will be at Night of Champions, to who it may be. Could be on SmackDown, so you make sure to take that time for the originator, the man that created SmackDown spoilers, General Jerry. And if there is an announcement on SmackDown spoilers, I will let you know ASAP, because I am the originator, I am the architect, and I am simply the best. John Cena versus Sheamus. In a match made by the Authority earlier on tonight, John Cena battled Money in the Bank Sheamus. Pretty good match. I thought it was pretty good, the brawling style of Sheamus, and I think John Cena, as much as I dislike the man, I think he did pretty well. Sheamus was frustrated later on in the match as it dragged on, unable to put Cena away despite the clover wreath and a brogue kick. The former US champion mounted some offense, trapping his opponent in an STF, but Sheamus was able to escape. It was only a matter of time before Cena delivered the attitude adjustment, picked up the win, maintaining momentum ahead of Night of Champions against the architect, Seth Rollins. So John Cena defeated Sheamus. Pretty decent match. I thought it was pretty good. That's just my personal opinion. We then have, oh my god, ladies and gentlemen, another interaction in the ring. Which I have said previously, we need to see more of this, because if they are going to build up Night of Champions, they need to have interaction in the ring. Kevin Owens interrupts Ryback. Anchored by the influence that cost him in the Lumberjack match against Seth Rollins on SmackDown, Intercontinental Champion Ryback called out Kevin Owens during an in-ring promo. The big guy expressed respect for Owens on his journey to the top and the wrestling world, and then admitted that he is first opportunity only to pick himself up and continue climbing. Owens vowed to put Ryback's title reign at rest at Night of Champions, thus providing the strongest man on the roster is the weakest emotionally and spiritually. Pretty good. I thought it was definitely going to add momentum. I'm actually looking forward to Kevin Owens and Ryback as well. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, every single match will be covered at Night of Champions, because General Jerry, he leaves no stone unturned. He lets you know absolutely everything. So let us continue again. Neville versus Stardust. Ended a no contest. I don't really give a shit. Instead of the hero, sent the villains running, standing tall in the squared circle. This is obviously Neville versus Stardust. Neville and the Luchador Dragons versus the Cosmic Wasteland. Ended a no contest. Definitely something that'll probably be on a pre-show and nobody really gives a fucking shit about. Just my personal opinion. I see bullshit when I see it. Charlotte versus Nikki Bella. There's no doubt that there will be a great debate on this. I will obviously give you the results right now. Charlotte would score the pinfall victory only to have Stephanie McMahon appear to reveal the announcement that the title will not change hands. As a result, Nikki holds onto her championship. She then made the mistake of taking the eye off the ball, allowing Brie Bella to switch with her sister. Obviously, then it will be Charlotte versus Nikki Bella. The stipulation now is that if you can win by pinfall, submission, count out, disqualification, the title can't change hands. I think on Night of Champions, Charlotte has a good shout to win it. I think Nikki Bella, like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if they want her to constantly, go on with it. It's gonna be a hard decision who's gonna win between Charlotte and Nikki Bella. As you all know the result, Charlotte pinned Brie Bella, no title switch. Great match. I will say that I wasn't particularly happy about the ending, but thinking about it, it is building up to Night of Champions. So at least they are providing some incentive to watch the match, which is a far cry from what was happening previously. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, people are going to be pissed off that AJ Lee, her record's been broken. I understand that. Yes, I am angry, but what I want to say is this, is that AJ Lee is no longer in the company. She's no longer a wrestler in the company. And in a business, as much as it pains me to say this, in a business point of view, it does make sense for Nikki Bella to overtake, because essentially she is the champion. And she, who knows, she could have an even longer title run. But like I said, it is time for the Divas Championship now to be sure to some of these Divas to add incentive for the Divas division. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I thought the match was good. The ending, however, people don't really understand it. But let's get into your next segment, which is Cesaro versus Rusev. The Bulgarian Brute found himself distracted by the show-off who appeared at ringside. The greeting some array with a gift, allowing Cesaro to score the win with a roll-up after the match. Ziggler delivered a big kick to send one last message to his rival. From a booking standpoint, it's completely lazy. I cannot believe they're still doing the Ziggler versus Rusev thing. This could have been a great match, but once again, a distraction. Obviously Cesaro defeated Rusev, but it is lazy writing. Let's get in to your main event. This is Sting versus Big Show. Then later on, an announcement of a tag team main event. Some people didn't like it. Personally, I liked it because I think in a booking standpoint, you needed Sting to face off. However, there may be a chance Sting might not win it. For anyone who doesn't know, and I'm going to be running down the match in a minute, but I need to get this off my chest, is that usually the challenger, if he submits the champion on Raw, 9 times out of 10 he will lose. I hope not. I pray that Stinger wins it, but it's 50-50 at the moment for people to say, well, the dirt sheet said this and the dirt sheet said that. At the end of the day, it is dirt sheets. Dirt sheets have been wrong before. But like I said, historically, the challenger who makes the champion submit on Raw usually loses. Now, if that was to happen, I would be pissed, and as I promised, there will be a rant, because General Jerry gives 100% all the time, every time. So, Sting defeated the Big Show by disqualification. Sting and Cena defeated Big Show and Rollins in their tag match. Obviously, the Stinger basically got Seth Rollins in the Scorpion Deathlock, and Seth Rollins tapping like a bitch, and Seth Rollins does look like a fucking bitch. But if the way this is being booked, Seth Rollins will win, which I'm not too happy about. I hope I'm wrong, but there is a chance. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, it is 50-50. Nothing's set in concrete at this point in time. You know, for someone to say, oh, because of the dirt sheet said this and the dirt sheet said that, you know, sometimes the dirt sheets are right, but you can't take it as fact. Because, ladies and gentlemen, you know, the man right now, General Jerry, is the architect. He is the mayor, the monarch. But ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you all for watching this Raw. Very fiery Raw right now. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank your support. Nearly 100 subscribers, and I want to make an announcement right now. Ladies and gentlemen, my goal for this channel, right here, right now, I have waited so long for this. It is unbelievable. But ladies and gentlemen, I will be going for the silver play button trophy. 100,000 subscribers. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I ain't playing no games anymore because I am the general. I am the architect. I am the creator of SmackDown Spoilers, and I am the best! Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, this is General Jerry on the General Jerry channel, signing out.